Utah, and it's been a minute since we've picked up the camera and really done any filming or any really documentation of what's been going on here on the farm. And a lot of that's really just because we've been really busy with between cleanup and everything, and then also just meetings and also just regular farm stuff. We wanted to update you guys on kind of where things are at right now and where things are going from here. So if you look over here, this is really the current state of things here in the farmyard. Obviously the calf hutches that once sat right here at the end of the shed are not here anymore. They're still relocated somewhere else. You can see we've got a pile of hay and debris and everything over here that we've kind of piled up here. The fire's out, and I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a second. We're standing right in the big hay shed right now. Obviously this pile here burned for a number of weeks. We got it all put out and everything's piled up here now. Just for perspective here, this tractor is parked and it's almost as tall as that tractor is. It's a mix of hay, grain, and ash, and then a little bit of wood and nails and some metal. But this is the final product here of what has to get hauled off to the landfill. We did meet with the landfill and they're going to take this material for us, and so we will get busy on that as soon as we have the time. Over here, this shed is pretty much completely dismantled here aside from the concrete. So these are concrete blocks that we used to build these bunkers, and these are obviously going to be able to be reused. So we'll probably pull all these out, get the nails out from between them, spray them off before we bring any more feed in here. You can see there's still a lot of ash and everything down here on the ground that we'll need to clean up before we put cows' feed in these bunks again. A lot of the other stuff that we've been spending our time on lately is meetings. We've met with our insurance agent a bunch, with the adjuster, with our accountants. We've met internally just as a family, and what we're trying to figure out is really where the cards are going to fall as far as where the insurance proceeds go, and then also what our next steps are from here and what we want to do. How do we want to rebuild this place? And honestly, we're not making a ton of progress as far as the rebuilding plans go. We have a lot of ideas, and really we're open to suggestions. So if you guys have a brilliant idea that you've always been thinking of for this place, please let us know. All right, so today we're hauling some manure. We've got the skid steer over here, obviously the manure spreader here behind me. I am the best skid steer operator in the family. That's an award that I give out annually to myself. Hopefully we can get this thing loaded pretty quick. I'll post how long it takes to load it from start to finish, but take some guesses now of how long you think it takes to fill this behemoth. Insurance, was their hay covered, was the barns covered, equipment, all that kind of stuff. So to understand that, let me back up just a little bit at a higher level and explain kind of how insurance works. Insurance exists on almost any asset you can have on a farm. So this tractor has insurance on it, this manure spreader has insurance on it. You can elect to insure almost any asset on your farm. And so on our place, we have all of our equipment covered. We have our hay covered, our straw covered, and our buildings, as well as some other things, our cattle and things of that nature. So all that coverage was in place at the time of the fire for all of the assets that were involved. Now where things get tricky is that when you set up an insurance policy, you assign each asset a value. And that value becomes the number that you can be insured up to in the event of a loss. So when we set up our insurance policy 2 years ago, was the last time that we did a big audit of everything. We assigned each each asset a value. And we did that at replacement cost, not at the actual value. And the reason for that is that those two values are incredibly different. So, for example, on a hay shed, if you go to a lender, they're going to assign a value to that in an appraisal of usually about $4 to $5 per square foot. When in reality, the cost to actually build that is more like $10 to $20 per square foot. So that's why we went with replacement costs, because we felt like it made more sense. If we lost something that we would want to replace it, we don't just want to reinsure the actual value of that asset. Where this gets tricky for us in our situation is that when we set up our policy 2 years ago, I'll make up a round number here, but I'll just say that we insured our hay shed at, say, $50,000 was the cost to replace that 2 years ago. As you guys know, with everything that's been going on in the world, things have changed quite a bit, and costs are not the same as what they once were. And so now the replacement cost for that building is now closer to $100,000 to $130,000. And so were we insured? Absolutely we were insured. But the cost of replacing these assets is what has far outstripped the bounds of that policy, because they can only pay us up to $50,000 for that asset. So I just made up those numbers. That was just meant to illustrate kind of where those values are at. The replacement cost for these buildings and this equipment and this hay, we're finding to be almost 2 times that of what our policy was set up for just 2 years ago. I felt like we were really on the ball with all of that and how we had set things up. But there's always, we could always sharpen our sword a little bit more. So if you're a producer, a farmer, or anything like that out there, I would just recommend that you're looking at those replacement costs every single year when your policy renews, and that should help you keep ahead of the market, or at least close enough to the market that in the event of a serious loss like this, that maybe you could find yourself in a better position than we found ourselves in. This much I do know, guys, there is nothing quite as satisfying and beautiful as getting to haul manure in a winter landscape here in Cache Valley, Utah. I'm gonna edit a lot of that out, but usually that takes like one try. That took multiple because I was doing it one-handed and backwards. But just let that be a lesson to you kids. Don't trust everything you see on TV. So this will likely be our last video of the year. I wanted to, just on behalf of our family, give you guys this one big thank you for all of the support, the help, the donations, the kind words, the visits, everything that you guys have done for us here in the last couple of weeks. It's been really an unprecedented time for us and our family and our farm, but it's something that I am still very hopeful, and we're very optimistic that things are going to work out for the best for us and for these cows here, and for everything that we have going on, and for this rebuild that we'll be doing here soon. But again, thank you guys for all that you have done for us. We're excited about the future and to tackle all of these different changes and things here in 2022, and to bring you along for the ride as well. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you guys all again soon in our next video.